This is why I never buy consoles on day one, because then my wife's gonna be like, oh, yeah, it doesn't work. Why'd you put...
Was that too hard?
So, on the PS5, there are some issues that are showing up for some people with it right now. Just doing a Google search will show you a lot of them. So I figured I would compile a list of the most common and the most deadly, because I want to help you make the decision on, should I buy a PS5 right now or should I wait? So if you want to see more videos like this and even more coming in the future about the Xbox Series X, the Nintendo Switch, and gaming and tech in general, subscribe to the channel, please. I mean, like, pretty please. If you found any kind of issues with your PlayStation 5 or even your Xbox Series X, leave a comment down below. And if I know of a fix, I'll help you out with it, because I'm genuinely curious about this stuff and maybe I can even have a solution for you. Here we go. So first off, I have to thank you. Thank you all. Because number one is a reference to my last video on YouTube, which was fixing the PS5 noisy fan. That video has been getting so much love. If there's anyone here that subscribed since the last video, welcome back. And again, thank you. Thank you so much. The number one spot is the noisy fan on the PS5. Obviously, if you watch the first video, you know that the fan itself is vibrating on the case of the PS5. I did a whole fix on how to do that. The whole video, it shows you exactly how to do it. Really easy, simply, and quick. A lot of people have been using the fix. It's working for people, and I'm so glad that I could share it and it's reaching a lot of people. And hey, if you came from that video, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming back. So if you want to head back to that video, I'll have it linked in the description below. Controllers. The Dualsense controller. Absolutely beautiful. Feels great. But there's a couple issues. People are finding that they're not charging. Some people are trying to charge them with regular cell phone chargers that are just plugged into the wall, or if you're a friend from the UK, then the mains. But some people are finding that they're just not charging. They're plugging their controller in, coming back overnight, and it's still not charged. So a couple things that I found on Reddit: either it's a bad USB cable, certain USB cables are just not charging them at all. Another thing is that phone wall bricks, or just some generic wall bricks that you're plugging in and then you're plugging the USB into that, are not charging them. One example of these wall chargers that you can't use is a lot of people are finding that their Apple chargers can't be used to charge this. That and MacBook chargers are not working to charge the Dualsense controllers. So that could be an issue for a lot of us who are using their phone chargers to do that. If you want to fix this, you can do one of a few things that are pretty much guaranteed to work. Number one, use the USB cable that came with the PlayStation 5. Inside the box, they give you a cable specifically for the Dualsense controller. Use that cable with the PS5. On the front, you have a USB-C port and you have a USB-A port. Use the USB-A port in the front to charge the Dualsense controller. That's the easiest one. Next, if you want, get the Dualsense charging station. What's it called? It's made specifically from PlayStation to charge these controllers. Especially if you have more than one controller, it's fantastic. It actually plugs right into the wall outlet or the mains, and it's charging two controllers at the same time, or just one if that's what you're using. And another issue that people have been finding with the Dualsense controller is actually the trigger buttons coming loose when they press their, say, R2 trigger button, and they find that the button stays down and it doesn't come back up like it's supposed to. So same as in the DualShock controllers, there's a little spring that is designed to push the button back out after you've pressed it. Now, people are finding that this spring is either breaking or bending. And I found one user on Reddit, MoffTarkin33, which is a great Star Wars reference, by the way. He took some pictures of the springs in both the L2 and the R2 trigger, and how one actually bent and came out of its spot. So I'll show you those here. Now, how would you fix this? One option would be to replace the spring altogether. I did do a search. I didn't find them for sale yet, but in the future when they do become available, that will be a possible fix. Other option, of course, is we're so fresh into it, you still have a warranty on the controller. So I mean, you could send it back to Sony for a replacement, assuming that they will cover that, which I think they better. The other option to fix this is what MoffTarkin33 did. He actually took the spring out I'll show you here. He took the spring out of the controller, turned it around, did a 180 with it, and put it back in. Attached it where it needed to go, and it brought that resistance back up to where it should have been.
Resistance is futile.
Really? Now, has anyone here ever experienced the Nintendo Switch JoyCon Drift? Well, if so, you may be getting a case of the Vietnam flashbacks. Some users are finding that their Dualsense is actually having joystick drift. There are a couple posts on Reddit about their analog sticks showing inputs when the user wasn't putting any inputs into the controller. One user has the map spinning, and another user had their character running around in circles. So now, how would you fix that? Right now, I don't think we can. It's not old enough to be dirty inside or anything. There's no parts that we can buy to interchange anything. As of right now, the fix is to get a warranty replacement from Sony. Yay! Data transfer from the PS4 to the PS5. So some users are trying to transfer their games and their save files from the PS4 to the PS5. They're getting errors while transferring. So there's 3 ways to transfer data from the PS4 to the PS5. First one is with an Ethernet cable. Plug it into the Ethernet port on the PS4, plug the other end into the PS5. Another option is copying the data from the PS4 onto a USB flash drive and then plugging that into the PS5. Both of these options are giving a lot of users errors. It's even overheating the system, or the transfer just takes a long time and then it fails. For example, I've seen someone say they got to 80 out of 82 gigabytes transferred and then it failed. Or their transfer said it would take a couple hours. They got all the way through and then with 10 minutes left, it failed. At the end of all that, some users even lost all of their data. Ouch. The last option is probably the safest option, the best option that's working for most people, which is to do the transfer over Wi-Fi. That's all that we have on this for now. Right now, we're just waiting on Sony to create a fix. Yay. What do you do if your console has lost all its data, or if it won't turn on, or if it's restarting on you all the time? What you'll want to do is boot the PS5 into safe mode. From safe mode, you'll be able to do things like update the software and the firmware. You'll be able to rebuild the database, and you'll also be able to do a full factory reset from safe mode. How do you do that? I'll show you. Safe mode on the PS5. Fully power down the PS5. Now I'm going to come to the power button on the PlayStation 5 console. I'm going to press it for about 7 or 8 seconds. As soon as I start pressing the button, I'm going to hear a beep, and I'm going to wait until after about 7 or 8 seconds. Then it's going to beep again, and then the picture will show up on screen. There's the second beep. Now, you can see it tells you to connect the controller to the console with a cable. So, I've got the USB-C cable plugged into the Dualsense controller. Now I'm going to plug the end of the cable into the console, and I'm pressing the PS button. So this is the safe mode menu. You can either restart, change video, update the system software, which I actually did. So now, before this, I went into the regular settings and tried to update from the regular menu. It said my console was up to date. Then I went into the safe mode menu, clicked on update system software, and there was an update available. I don't know why they have updates available on this side that's not available on the regular menu, but that's a thing. Here's a hack. Here's your secret. Gave it to you. And now there is an update, only in safe mode. So I'm gonna update it. Here we go. Number 4, you can also restore default settings or rebuild database. So if you've got an issue like you've got corrupt data, you can come into the safe mode menu and rebuild the database from here. Other than that, if your console is giving you nothing but corruption issues, you can choose to reset the PS5 by reinstalling the system software, which means it's a hard factory reset. So it'll wipe your whole console, it'll get rid of all your game data, your save data, etc. If you really have to, you can do that. For now, I'm not having any problems, thankfully, so I'm going to hit restart PS5. Now, the next one is the console losing power for no reason. Just a complete shutdown. I experienced this on day one of playing Spider-Man Miles Morales on the PS5. It freaked me out a little bit, to be honest. And I'm not the only one who experienced this. A lot of people had that happen to them, whether playing Miles Morales or any other games. Sometimes the console would just shut off. A lot of people were experiencing it during playing while having an external drive connected, like our external hard drive, for example. But that specific point I'm going to come back to in a minute. Luckily, in my case on that day, I was able to just turn the console back on and continue playing again. Some people didn't have that same luxury. Some people were waiting for a while. Some people had to wait 10 minutes, and some people turned their console back on and faced a database recovery. Some people weren't able to turn it back on at all. They would currently be going through a replacement with Sony right now, unfortunately. So for the people who were able to get back on, but maybe had some issues afterwards, what the fix for that would be going into safe mode and rebuilding the database or restarting. Also, definitely check for updates in the safe mode. Also, some people unfortunately had to do a full factory reset from safe mode. But at least if the factory reset would fix it and bring it back to normal, then it would be worth it. Now, unfortunately, if you do have to go through a warranty replacement with Sony, from what I've heard is it's pretty easy to get through to them on the phone, but it does take an average of what they're saying is going to be about 3 weeks for them to send you a box, for you to ship the console to them, and it's just the console. No controller, no stand, nothing like that. Send the console to them, let them repair it, or send you a new one back. So they're saying about 3 weeks. So currently there's some people who have got it on day one who've had to send it out on day two, unfortunately, and they would still be waiting for their console today, unfortunately. That's a real bummer. This one is a popular one. On November 10th, we saw a tweet by a popular gaming YouTuber, ACG Gaming, was testing out his review unit PS5 when he sent a tweet saying, "At this time, my PS5 is 100% dead." He said he had a storage rebuild issue, which turned into full errors and network issues. Now, after seeing this November 10th, a lot of us were scared for our PS5s that were coming on November 12th. But I was still excited. So he was working with Sony, troubleshooting and that, and Sony determined that his was NFG. So Sony sent him a second unit. Once he got that second unit, it was fine. I guess some consoles are just lemons. Alright, now this one, unfortunately, is a very, very common one that I think a lot, if not maybe the majority of PS5 users have experienced. This one, it's the rest mode crashing. So, rest mode. What is rest mode? Rest mode is when you put the PS4 into a kind of like a standby low power mode, so the console's not running full power all night. What you can usually do is it'll stay connected to the internet, it will continue downloading games, saving progress, it can continue charging your controllers, for example. What's been happening, so I've experienced this pretty much every day since I've had the console. Mine is not so bad of a problem. I got lucky. My issue is I would put it into rest mode and I would leave and I would come back later or the next day, turn it back on with the Dualsense controller, press the power button, and nothing happens. And I would wait, and I would press the PS button again, and nothing happens. So I would go to the console, and I press the power button on the console. It beeps, lights don't turn on. And I'm like, did I do something wrong? Did I put it in rest mode? Did I shut it off? I press the power button on the console again, and it starts turning on, no problem. It was weird. It's happened nearly every single day. Now, other people aren't so lucky. Some other people, unfortunately, what's happening is their consoles are crashing altogether, either going into rest mode or when they come back later and they try to turn it on and they need to either rebuild their databases or the console is just bricked, unfortunately. Does Sony have a fix for this? No. But here's a workaround for it. What you can do is instead of putting it into rest mode, you can shut the console off altogether. What people have been doing online is disabling the rest mode altogether. And I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, so from here, we're going to go up to settings, to system, down to power saving, Set time until PS5 enters rest mode. Click on during media playback. Don't put in rest mode. While playing games, don't put in rest mode. This is pretty important, actually. So some people are actually having a really bad time with this. They could come back. They could try to turn their PS5 on after putting it into rest mode and find messages like repair your external device. I'm not even sure if they had external devices in this case, or even that they've lost hours of progress in a game. So the way to fix the rest mode errors is to avoid rest mode altogether. Just leave your console on 24/7, which I would not recommend, or completely turn it off every time you're done with it. For now, until we wait for a fix from Sony.